The night opens gently, as if the world itself is preparing to listen. In this quiet space, where thoughts drift slowly and curiosity settles like soft mist, we begin a journey across the hidden landscapes of human history. Landscapes filled with discoveries so astonishing, so deeply puzzling, that they seem to belong to another world entirely. These finds, scattered across continents and buried beneath layers of earth, stone, and water, challenge the boundaries of what we think we know about the past. They invite us into a conversation spanning thousands of years, whispered through relics, ruins, and forgotten cities that defy the explanations offered by modern understanding. There's a certain peace that comes with gazing into the unknown, especially when the unknown is ancient. Our world is filled with stories, some written, some spoken, and some hidden so deeply that only time, patience, and persistence can uncover them. As we begin this exploration, imagine the stillness of a museum at dusk, the muted echo of footsteps along polished floors, and the quiet shapes of artifacts resting behind glass. Each object stands alone, yet connected by the invisible threads of history, and each holds a secret, a fragment of a story not yet fully understood. Archaeology brings these fragments into the light. It is a discipline grounded in patience, shaped by detailed observation, and carried forward by curiosity. The archaeologist kneels before the earth, the brush moving softly over stone or clay, revealing shapes that have not seen sunlight in centuries. But what makes archaeology so captivating is not just what it uncovers, but what it cannot fully explain. For every question answered, a dozen new ones emerge, weaving a tapestry of mystery that stretches across time. Some artifacts are familiar and comforting, tools, pottery, simple carvings. Others are extraordinary, complex, or impossibly advanced for their age, pushing against the limits of our assumptions. These extraordinary discoveries are the heartbeat of this journey. They're the moments where understanding falters, where logic hesitates, and where something older, deeper, and perhaps more wondrous steps forward. Consider the sense of awe one might feel when standing before an impossibly large stone block carved thousands of years ago, shaped with precision that seems beyond the technology of its era. Or imagine holding a small artifact that suggests knowledge of astronomy or geometry far more advanced than expected. These contradictions between what should be possible and what undeniably exists create a space for contemplation, a quiet doorway into the mysteries of human history. Nighttime is the perfect companion for such contemplation. The world softens, distractions fade, and we become more attuned to the subtle, the uncertain, and the profound. Questions that feel overwhelming in daylight become comforting in darkness, like distant lanterns gently illuminating the unknown. And so, as we move slowly into the heart of this story, we allow ourselves to embrace that balance between light and shadow, between knowledge and mystery, between the world we recognize and the secrets it still holds. Throughout the world, discoveries have emerged that seem to challenge the timeline of human civilization. Some structures appear older than expected. Others display techniques that modern engineers still marvel at. Tools have been found that do not match the expected technological level of their time. Carvings show patterns aligned perfectly with celestial bodies. Maps hint at lands supposedly undiscovered. These findings invite us to step outside the rigid frameworks we often use to understand history. They invite us to wonder, who were the people who created these things? What did they know? What knowledge have we lost in the shifting tides of time? Yet this journey is not about providing definitive answers. It is about experiencing the richness of the unknown, the wonder that blooms in the spaces between fact and possibility. The beauty of these discoveries lies not only in their physical form, but in the questions they raise. Questions about human creativity, resilience, and complexity. Sometimes, the mystery itself becomes the message, reminding us that the world is vast, history is layered, and truth is often more intricate than the stories we have told ourselves. Imagine ancient cities buried beneath the earth, their walls still standing, their streets frozen in time. Imagine colossal statues carved with breathtaking detail, gazing silently across landscapes that have transformed beyond recognition. Imagine artifacts so peculiar and advanced that researchers struggle to place them within any known cultural framework. These are not fantasies. They are real discoveries that shape and reshape our understanding of the past. They whisper of civilizations that rose, flourished, and vanished, leaving behind traces that challenge our most fundamental beliefs. There is a quiet poetry to these discoveries. When the first rays of morning sunlight fall across a newly uncovered stone carving, or when diverse brush sediment from a submerged statue glimmering beneath blue water, the moment feels gentle and sacred. These objects have waited patiently, protected by earth or sea, for the right hands to uncover them. And when they emerge, they seem to carry with them a kind of wisdom, a presence that feels at once ancient and immediate. But for every artifact that helps us understand history, there are others that complicate it. Consider the structures built with stones weighing hundreds of tons, placed with such precision that even a blade of grass cannot slide between them. Consider the symbols carved into rock faces that resemble astronomical charts, more accurate than those believed possible at the time. Consider small, delicate objects that reveal fine craftsmanship requiring tools we have never found. These discoveries challenge the linear story of progress we often assume, suggesting instead a history marked by rises and falls, by knowledge gained and lost, by civilizations whose depths we are only beginning to grasp. Throughout this documentary, we will explore these wonders with calm curiosity, moving gently from one mystery to another. We will travel across deserts, through forests, beneath oceans, and into lost cities. We will consider the hands that shaped these relics, the minds that envisioned them, and the unknown forces that may have influenced their creation. We will not rush, for the past does not reveal itself quickly. Instead, we will move with care, allowing each discovery to unfold naturally, like a page slowly turned in an ancient book. Our journey begins with the simple acknowledgement that the past is not fully known. For every chapter written, many remain lost. For every discovery made, countless more lie hidden. And yet, that uncertainty is what makes the human story so fascinating. Mystery invites reflection. It encourages imagination. It reminds us that knowledge is a living, evolving thing, and that history, too, continues to grow, shift, and deepen with every new clue uncovered. As we stand at the threshold of this exploration, we are invited into a state of gentle wonder, a quiet openness to the unexpected. The discoveries we will encounter defy easy explanation, not because they belong to fantasy, but because they challenge the boundaries of our current understanding. They suggest that the ancient world was more complex, more curious, and more interconnected than we once believed. And in doing so, they remind us that the past is not a distant echo. It is a living presence, woven into the world around us, waiting patiently for those who choose to look. In this calm, reflective space, we embark on a journey into the unbelievable, the mysterious, and the unexplained. And as the night deepens around us, we lean in closer, ready to listen to the stories that time has kept hidden, stories written in stone, buried in sand, and whispered across the ages. Across the globe, there are stones that seem to speak, not in words, but in their silent, immovable presence. Some rise in jagged defiance against the sky. Others lie in careful, deliberate arrangements that hint at purpose and understanding far beyond what we can fully grasp. These megalithic structures, ancient, monumental, and enigmatic, challenge everything we think we know about human capability in the distant past. Their sheer scale, the precision with which they were carved, and the thoughtfulness of their alignments suggest that the people who created them possessed knowledge, skill, and perhaps a vision that has been largely lost to time. Standing before them, it is easy to feel both awe and a profound sense of curiosity, as though the stones themselves are waiting for us to uncover their stories. Consider the stones of Puma Punku in Bolivia. Here, enormous blocks of andesite and sandstone, some weighing more than 100 tons, fit together with astonishing precision, without mortar, forming structures that seem impossible even by today's engineering standards. Each edge appears carefully measured, each surface smooth, as if guided by tools or knowledge that we cannot yet fully understand. The questions arise almost instinctively. How did these ancient builders move stones of such immense weight across difficult terrain? How did they achieve such exact cuts with tools that should have been rudimentary? And why were these structures erected with such deliberate care, aligned with the landscape and perhaps even celestial patterns? The answers are elusive, and perhaps that is part of their enduring charm. Half a world away, in Lebanon, the ruins of Baalbek stand as a testament to human ambition writ in stone. Colossal monoliths, some weighing upwards of 1,000 tons, are positioned with remarkable precision, forming the foundations for temples that stretch the imagination. Even in ruin, their presence is overwhelming. Their scale dwarfs the human figure, reminding us of how small we are compared to the enduring legacy of these civilizations. What techniques allowed such enormous stones to be lifted and placed so perfectly? How did people without modern machinery achieve alignment and stability on such a grand scale? Here again, the mysteries persist, quietly defying explanation while inviting contemplation. These ancient monuments do more than impress with size. They often reveal a deep understanding of geometry, physics, and natural forces. From the subtle curvature of stone walls to alignments with solstices and stars, it is clear that the builders were not merely shaping stone. They were shaping an entire worldview, embedding knowledge and meaning into the very landscape. In these precise forms and arrangements, one can almost perceive a language written not in letters, but in proportion and placement, a language meant to communicate across centuries. Yet, the full message remains just beyond our comprehension, leaving us in a liminal space where wonder and humility meet. It is not only the largest stones that capture our attention, but also the way smaller megaliths interact with them, forming complex sites whose purposes remain largely speculative. Pathways, terraces, and ceremonial platforms hint at social organization, ritual, and perhaps a connection to the cosmos. Each stone seems deliberately placed, each angle carefully considered, suggesting a sophisticated knowledge of both architecture and astronomy. Some scholars propose that these sites served as centers of power, spiritual hubs, or repositories of ancient wisdom. Others see them as markers of human ambition, monuments to skill, persistence, and the desire to leave something that transcends a single lifetime. Whatever the intention, their presence continues to inspire and provoke questions. There's a rhythm in these stones, a silent cadence that invites the observer to slow down, to move carefully from one block to the next, noticing the lines, the angles, the interplay of shadow and sunlight. It is as if the monuments themselves are inviting reflection, asking us to consider not only how they were made, but why they were made. Were they simply functional structures? Or did they hold deeper meaning, a language of geometry and placement meant to communicate with those who came after? Perhaps they were meant to evoke awe, to create a sense of connection between the earthly and the divine. The very act of standing among them becomes an act of meditation, a quiet acknowledgement of human capability and the mysteries that endure. What adds to their allure is the tension between what we know and what remains hidden. Archaeologists have uncovered much, yet there are still vast questions. Many stones show signs of quarrying techniques that seem advanced for their time. Some are precisely cut to interlock without mortar, while others are transported across distances that would have been nearly unimaginable with the technology we attribute to ancient cultures. Did these civilizations possess lost methods or tools that we have yet to rediscover? Were their constructions influenced by knowledge passed down from even older, forgotten societies? Or is there a simplicity to their creation that our modern assumptions render inconceivable? Each theory opens another door to mystery, keeping the mind engaged in quiet wonder. And so, the stones continue to speak, softly but insistently, across centuries. They remind us that history is not a static record of events, but a living conversation, one in which we are participants as much as observers. By studying the stones, their placements, and the subtle messages they encode, we connect with the minds and hands of those who came before. In the calm of reflection, their achievements resonate, whispering lessons about ambition, precision, and the endless curiosity that drives humanity to create beyond its immediate needs. These megaliths, these monuments, these stones that defy explanation, serve as portals to a time when human ingenuity brushed against the impossible. They stand not only as reminders of what was built, but as invitations to explore, question, and imagine. Through them, we glimpse a past rich with mystery, a history that is simultaneously tangible and elusive. And as we leave the plateau, the desert, or the ancient temple site, the echo of their silent presence lingers in our minds, urging us onward to the next discovery, the next question, the next encounter with the astonishing. Beneath the endless deserts, along riverbanks now quiet with the passage of time, entire cities slumber, hidden beneath layers of sand, sediment, and memory. These forgotten landscapes, once bustling with life, commerce, and culture, offer a haunting glimpse in a human history that has been largely lost to the modern world. As we explore these sunken and buried cities, we are drawn into a delicate dance between what is known and what remains hidden. Streets, walls, and foundations hint at a sophistication that challenges our understanding of ancient urban life, while the silence that surrounds them speaks louder than any words. The past is waiting, patient and still, beneath the earth, urging us to look closer, to imagine, and to wonder. Consider Mohenjo-Daro in the heart of the Indus Valley. Its streets, carefully planned and precisely aligned, suggest a society with remarkable engineering and organizational skills. Wells, drainage systems, and brick structures reveal attention to public health and urban planning far ahead of their time. Yet much of the city's purpose, its daily rhythms, and its ultimate fate remains shrouded in mystery. Why did such a thriving civilization disappear, leaving behind only fragments of its story? Archaeologists have pieced together fragments, but gaps remain, and the silence of the city continues to provoke reflection. Walking along its remnants, one cannot help but feel the pulse of a civilization long gone, its whispers carried on the wind through empty streets and forgotten corners. Half a world away, beneath the Mediterranean waters, lie the submerged ruins of Heracleon and Canopus, ancient Egyptian cities once vibrant with trade, culture, and spiritual life. Today, divers explore their remains, where temples, statues, and marketplaces lie suspended in sand and silt, preserved by the sea. The water lends the ruins an ethereal, dreamlike quality, as if the cities themselves are caught between worlds. Partly visible, partly hidden, a liminal space that blurs the line between reality and memory. Here, the mysteries are amplified. How did these cities sink into the water? Were they victims of earthquakes, rising seas, or other natural forces? And what stories remain trapped within their submerged walls, waiting for patient exploration to uncover? The allure of these buried cities is not limited to their physical remains. They are archives of human ambition, creativity, and social complexity. Pottery shards, tools, and remnants of everyday life allow us to glimpse routines, rituals, and the human experience long vanished. Yet even with these tangible clues, we are left with profound questions. What drove these societies to build such intricate cities? How do they interact with their environment? And how much knowledge has been lost to time? There is a delicate tension here between the tangible evidence that archaeology provides and the vast unknown that still surrounds these sites, a tension that invites reflection and quiet awe. In some deserts, The sands themselves preserve these ancient cities as if keeping them safe from the ravages of modern eyes. Layers of wind-blown earth conceal structures, streets, and temples, only to be revealed gradually by careful excavation. Every shovel of sand, every brush of an archaeologist's hand uncovers fragments of lives lived thousands of years ago. It is a meticulous, patient process, requiring both skill and respect for the past. Yet with every discovery, the sense of wonder deepens. The alignment of buildings, the uniformity of brickwork, the sophistication of water management systems. All these details speak to a civilization whose complexity challenges contemporary assumptions about human development. Even in their buried state, these cities evoke emotion. The contrast between the vibrancy of life they once held and their current silence is striking. Markets once alive with traders now lie empty. Temples once filled with the hum of devotion now submerged in quiet sand, and streets that once bore the footsteps of children are now corridors of memory. It is in this silence that the imagination finds room to wander, to reconstruct scenes of daily life, to imagine the sounds, smells, and motions of societies that existed thousands of years before our own. The past becomes almost tangible, felt in the space around us, yet remains elusive enough to maintain its power to intrigue and inspire. Some of these buried cities also challenge the accepted timelines of civilization. Artifacts and structures sometimes appear in forms or with levels of sophistication that suggest knowledge and capability far beyond what conventional history credits to the era. Were these civilizations independent marvels of human ingenuity, or did they inherit wisdom from older, forgotten societies? The answers remain tantalizingly out of reach, prompting both scholars and dreamers to speculate, to wonder, and to revisit assumptions about the capabilities of our ancestors. Each layer of earth removed reveals not just stone and brick, but the echoes of human experience, ambition, and creativity. There is also a profound sense of impermanence woven into these discoveries. Buried cities remind us that civilizations, no matter how grand, are fragile in the face of time and nature. Earthquakes, floods, shifting sands, and rising seas have claimed entire metropolises, leaving only hints of what once was. This fragility, however, is juxtaposed with the enduring beauty and ingenuity of what remains. Even in decay, in silence, these cities communicate, telling us stories not only of achievement, but also of loss and resilience. The remnants invite contemplation of both the heights and limits of human endeavor, and of the delicate balance between permanence and transience in the arc of history. As we trace the outlines of these lost cities with our minds, moving through streets long abandoned, we begin to feel a connection to those who built them. We sense the hands that laid each brick, the minds that planned each street, the hopes and fears that shaped their society. And though we may never fully know the entirety of their stories, the fragments that remain, carefully excavated, preserved, and studied, offer a bridge across millennia, connecting us to a world that might otherwise have vanished without a trace. Ultimately, these forgotten cities beneath the sand are more than archaeological sites. They are portals into the imagination, invitations to explore the possibilities of human history that lie just beyond the edges of our knowledge. They remind us that history is not fixed, but fluid, that each new discovery has the potential to rewrite what we thought we knew. And as we move from one site to another, from desert to underwater ruins, the sense of wonder deepens, preparing us to encounter even smaller artifacts, enigmatic objects, and subtle signs of knowledge that, though less monumental in scale, are no less mysterious or captivating. Beyond the towering stones and buried cities, there exist smaller relics whose significance is no less extraordinary. These artifacts, often delicate in size, but vast in the questions they pose, seem to speak of knowledge and understanding that surpass what we might expect from their time. They are the whispers of a past that is both tangible and elusive, tangible in their presence but elusive in their meaning, challenging historians, archaeologists, and dreamers alike. As we examine these mysterious objects, we are drawn into the delicate interplay of ingenuity, purpose, and enigma, where each artifact carries the weight of human curiosity, creativity, and perhaps knowledge now forgotten. Consider the Antikythera mechanism, a small assemblage of interlocking bronze gears recovered from a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera. At first glance, it resembles nothing more than a jumble of metal, yet closer inspection reveals a precision and sophistication that astounds modern observers. This ancient computer, used to predict celestial positions and eclipses, demonstrates a mastery of astronomy and mechanics that challenges our assumptions about technological development in the ancient world. How did a civilization so distant in time conceive of such a device? What knowledge did they possess that allowed them to map the heavens with such accuracy? Even today, scholars marvel at the ingenuity packed into this compact instrument, a silent testament to the complexity of human thought thousands of years ago. Equally enigmatic are the so-called Baghdad batteries, small clay jars containing copper and iron components, which some researchers believe could have been used to generate electricity. The notion seems almost fantastical. Ancient civilizations experimenting with electricity long before the modern age. But the physical evidence cannot be entirely dismissed. If these artifacts were indeed functional, they hint at a lost understanding of electrochemical principles, a knowledge that has left almost no trace in written records. Here, the contrast is striking. The simple, unassuming jars evoke the ordinary, yet their possible purpose suggests extraordinary sophistication, leaving us to ponder the vast gulf between what has been recorded and what has been forgotten. Then there are the crystal skulls, smooth, translucent carvings whose origins and purpose remain hotly debated. Some claim they were sacred objects, repositories of spiritual energy, or tools for ceremonial practices. Others argue they are modern fabrications. Regardless of their provenance, their perfection and the skill required to shape quartz with such precision cannot be ignored. They captivate because they exist at the intersection of the known and the unknown, objects of human craftsmanship that seem almost otherworldly, bridging art, science, and mystery in a single form. Each curve and facet invites contemplation, encouraging the mind to wander through possibilities that extend beyond conventional history. The fascination with these artifacts is heightened by their scarcity. Unlike the monumental stones or sprawling cities, these objects are intimate in scale, almost personal. They were once held, used, and perhaps revered by individuals, suggesting a connection between people across time. Handling them, studying them, or even imagining their use invites a profound reflection on human ingenuity and imagination. How many ideas, technologies, or skills have been lost to history simply because the objects that embodied them have vanished, decayed, or remained undiscovered? Each artifact we uncover is a fragment of a much larger story, a fragment that challenges us to consider not only what these civilizations could do, but also what they might have known that we have yet to rediscover. The enigmatic quality of these items is amplified by their isolation. Many are found far from other known sites, in contexts that resist easy explanation. A single artifact may appear in a location with no apparent connection to other advanced civilizations, prompting questions about trade, migration, or the dissemination of knowledge. Were these objects gifts, tools, or symbols? Did their makers intend for them to survive, or were they lost by accident? And perhaps most intriguingly, could they represent a form of understanding or practice that was once widespread, now almost entirely erased from memory? The tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary in these artifacts keeps the mind engaged, hovering between explanation and wonder. There's also a subtle poetry in the craftsmanship of these objects. The Antikythera mechanism's interlocking gears, the Baghdad battery's copper spiral, the delicate curves of a crystal skull, all reveal a deep respect for precision, balance, and function. The makers of these artifacts were not merely producing objects. They were embedding thought, knowledge, and intention into their creations. This realization invites a quiet reflection. Across time, humans have sought to understand their world, to manipulate it, and to leave behind traces of their insight. These artifacts are the echoes of those efforts, resonating across millennia with a message that is part instruction, part enigma, and part inspiration. Even when their original purpose remains unknown, the artifacts speak to broader questions about the civilizations that produced them, or their priorities, their beliefs, and their values. How did they approach problem-solving and experimentation? How did they balance practical needs with aesthetic or spiritual considerations? Each artifact becomes a lens through which we glimpse a civilization's mindset, offering clues about their sophistication, creativity, and worldview. And in the gaps between our understanding and the truth lies the very essence of mystery, the feeling that there is more than meets the eye, more than we can measure, calculate, or fully explain. In this quiet contemplation, we begin to see a pattern emerging. Across continents and eras, human beings have demonstrated an unceasing curiosity and ingenuity, producing artifacts that challenge assumptions about technological and intellectual capability. Whether these objects are tools, ceremonial items, or instruments of knowledge, they all point to the same profound reality. Our ancestors were thinkers, inventors, and observers of the cosmos, capable of feats that resonate even in our modern age. The artifacts themselves may be small, but their implications are vast, suggesting that human potential, both past and present, cannot be easily contained within the neat boundaries of conventional history. And so, as we study these enigmatic items, we are invited into a meditation on human creativity and the persistence of mystery. Each artifact is a reminder that history is not merely a collection of dates and events, but a living dialogue between past and present. In their silence, they speak volumes. In their enigma, they inspire reflection. They challenge us to question the limits of our understanding, to expand our imagination, and to remain open to the possibility that the past may hold knowledge we have yet to grasp. The story of these artifacts is not just about discovery. It is about wonder, curiosity, and the enduring allure of the unknown. In tracing the contours of these mysterious objects, from intricate mechanisms to seemingly ordinary vessels imbued with hidden purpose, we begin to sense the vastness of human ambition and the depth of knowledge that may have been lost to time. And as we prepare to move from these smaller, but no less compelling discoveries to the next stage of our journey, hidden clues buried deep in the earth and scattered across landscapes, we carry with us the realization that history is an unending tapestry of questions, each artifact a thread that weaves together the known, the unknown, and the ineffable mysteries that continue to captivate the human imagination. As we move from the allure of enigmatic artifacts to the broader landscapes in which they are found, it becomes clear that discovery is not an instantaneous event. Each stone, each relic, each fragment of a lost civilization is unearthed through careful, deliberate exploration, a quiet dialogue between human curiosity and the earth itself. Archaeology is as much an art as a science, requiring patience, intuition, and an almost meditative attention to detail. The process of uncovering the past is slow and meticulous. Brushes sweep away centuries of dust, trowels trace the edges of foundations, and every shard of pottery, every carved stone, is cataloged, measured, and studied. In these methods, there is a rhythm, a calm precision, a reverence for the lives and knowledge that have long since slipped beyond reach. We often forget that what lies beneath the surface is not immediately visible. Soil, sand, and sediment serve as both protectors and concealers, hiding ancient cities, ceremonial sites, and artifacts from view for generations. Modern technology has given archaeologists new ways to peer into the past without disturbing it unnecessarily. Ground-penetrating radar reveals hidden foundations, sonar maps sunken ruins, and 3D modeling reconstructs sites long swallowed by time. Yet even with these tools, the process retains a deliberate, quiet pace. a reminder that history is patient, revealing itself only to those willing to listen attentively and proceed with care. The contrast between the slow, deliberate act of excavation and the sudden, awe inspired by discovery is striking. An archaeologist may spend months or even years meticulously uncovering layers of earth, only to have a single brushstroke reveal a shard of pottery, an intricately carved stone, or a fragment of metalwork that shifts understanding of an entire civilization. These moments of revelation are almost magical, yet they occur within the context of deep discipline and methodical work. They remind us that history does not simply appear fully formed. It emerges gradually, like a whispered story, and it is in this gradual unfolding that its beauty and mystery are most apparent. Some of the most compelling discoveries have been made in places that challenge both the mind and the body. Underwater cities, long lost beneath rising seas, demand extraordinary effort to explore. Divers navigate dark, silt-laden waters to uncover statues, roadways, and entire neighborhoods frozen in time. The ocean preserves these sites in eerie silence, creating a dreamlike environment where light and shadow play across stone and sediment. Similarly, deserts conceal cities beneath dunes that shift constantly, erasing paths and complicating excavation. In each case, the landscape itself becomes part of the story, a reminder that the earth holds its secrets closely and reveals them only to the patient observer. Archaeology also teaches us humility. Every find is a reminder that our understanding of the past is incomplete, shaped as much by what survives as by what has been lost. Entire civilizations may vanish with little trace, leaving only tantalizing clues in the form of artifacts, ruins, or oral tradition. Even monumental structures, though imposing, reveal only part of the story. The daily lives, beliefs, and intentions of the people who built them remain partially obscured. This tension between what we know and what remains hidden mirrors the very mysteries that drive us to explore in the first place. It is a quiet, persistent reminder that the past is not static but layered, complex, and often beyond our full comprehension. In reflecting on these methods and the patience they require, we come to appreciate the artistry inherent in the work of archaeologists. Each careful brushstroke, each precise measurement, each moment of documentation is a bridge connecting us to the people and knowledge of centuries or millennia past. There's a quiet poetry in these acts, an acknowledgement that the human story is fragile yet persistent, buried yet recoverable, and always waiting for attentive eyes and thoughtful hands to uncover it. In this way, the act of excavation becomes not merely a scientific pursuit, but a contemplative journey, one that encourages mindfulness, patience, and a deep reverence for the mysteries of human history. And so, as we prepare to move from the methods of discovery to the extraordinary traces of knowledge and craftsmanship left behind, the ancient maps, the precise alignments, the tools and artifacts that suggest a sophistication lost to time, we carry with us a sense of quiet wonder. The process itself is part of the story, a bridge between what is hidden and what is revealed, reminding us that each discovery, no matter how small, contributes to a greater understanding of civilizations that, though long gone, continue to speak to us across the centuries. Across continents and centuries, there exist colossal statues and monuments that defy easy explanation, standing as silent witnesses to human ambition, artistry, and mystery. Their sheer scale captures the imagination, while the precision of their construction challenges modern understanding. These are not merely expressions of power or devotion. They are enduring puzzles, crafted in stone, that seem to reach across time, speaking to us in a language both familiar and profoundly alien. In contemplating them, we encounter the duality of human achievement, the ordinary lives of those who labored to create them, and the extraordinary vision that inspired their construction. The Moai of Easter Island, rising stoically from the volcanic plains, embody this tension between human effort and artistic ambition. These statues, some weighing dozens of tons, were carved from basalt and transported across uneven terrain, seemingly with limited tools and no draft animals. How they were moved, positioned, and raised to stand upright continues to perplex researchers. Was it sheer human ingenuity, a sophisticated system of levers and ropes, or a combination of methods now lost to memory? The quiet presence of these stone figures, gazing across the landscape, evokes a sense of reverence and wonder, as if the past itself had taken form and was now silently observing us in return. Halfway across the world, the Sphinx of Giza looms, its enigmatic expression carved into limestone, guarding the sands of time. While much of its symbolism has been studied and interpreted, questions remain about its construction, its original purpose, and the methods used to create such a precise and monumental figure. The Sphinx embodies a conversation between what we know and what remains uncertain, its face a reminder that even the most familiar landmarks carry secrets. Erosion, the shifting sands, and millennia of human presence have added layers of complexity, both literally and figuratively, making it a site of ongoing fascination and quiet reflection. The Olmec colossal heads of Mesoamerica further deepen the mystery of monumental creation. Each head, carved from massive basalt boulders transported from distant quarries, is unique in its features and proportions, suggesting an intention to capture individuality, identity, or status. These works reflect not only technical skill, but also social and cultural sophistication, providing glimpses into political hierarchies, religious beliefs, and the ceremonial life of a civilization that predates much of the recorded history of the region. The effort required to move and carve these stones, without the benefit of modern machinery, emphasizes a remarkable combination of planning, strength, and ingenuity that continues to inspire awe today. Monuments such as Stonehenge in England and the great temple complexes of Angkor, Wat in Cambodia, highlight another aspect of ancient construction: alignment with celestial bodies. Stonehenge, with its precisely arranged sarsen and bluestone pillars, aligns with solstices, creating moments where light and shadow reveal patterns that may have guided ritual or seasonal activity. Angkor Wat's layout reflects cosmic symbolism, with towers, moats, and pathways designed to mirror the Hindu conception of the universe. These examples illustrate that monumental architecture was not merely functional or aesthetic. It was an expression of a civilization's understanding of the world, its spiritual beliefs, and its relationship to the cosmos. What is perhaps most compelling about these statues and monuments is the tension between scale and intention. Each massive stone block, each precise carving, represents countless hours of labor, organization, and planning. Yet despite their size, they often convey intricate symbolism, capturing abstract ideas in physical form. The contrast between the monumental and the meaningful draws the observer into contemplation. Here is evidence of human capability that transcends mere survival, an echo of minds and hands that sought to leave something permanent, meaningful, and awe-inspiring for generations yet to come. There's also a sense of mystery in the choices made by ancient builders. Why were certain materials selected? How did they transport these enormous stones across vast distances, sometimes over mountains or through dense forests? Why were some structures oriented with precise alignments, while others appear deliberately positioned to evoke mystery or power? Each decision, each construction choice, becomes a question that bridges the known and unknown, the practical and the symbolic. In pondering these questions, we gain insight into the thought processes and priorities of civilizations long vanished, while simultaneously acknowledging the limits of our understanding. Standing among these colossal creations, it is easy to feel both grounded and unmoored, aware of the scale of human history and the fleeting nature of individual existence. These monuments are silent teachers, offering lessons in ambition, perseverance, and creativity, while simultaneously insisting on humility. They remind us that human achievement is not always linear, that extraordinary feats can emerge in unexpected times and places, and that the past holds knowledge, skill, and artistry that continue to challenge and inspire us. Moreover, the presence of these statues and monuments creates a dialogue across geography and time. Despite being separated by oceans and continents, they share common threads, a desire to commemorate, to communicate, to impress, and to endure. From the Moai of Easter Island to the temples of Angkor, from the Sphinx to the Olmec heads, we see a shared human impulse to create lasting marks upon the earth, to bridge the temporal gap between the present and the future. These creations are more than stone and labor. They are embodiments of vision, memory, and the unending human quest to assert meaning in the world. Even when much about these monuments remains mysterious, their presence evokes a sense of wonder that is immediate and visceral. The scale, precision, and artistry speak to the ingenuity and determination of their creators, while the gaps in our understanding invite speculation, imagination, and curiosity. They challenge us to ask not only how these structures were built, but why they were built, prompting reflection on the values, beliefs, and ambitions of those who undertook such enormous tasks. As we leave behind the monuments and statues, their silent presence lingers in our minds, guiding us toward the next layer of mystery. The underwater ruins, the sunken cities, and the submerged worlds that reveal yet another dimension of human ingenuity and ambition. From the grandeur of the colossal to the quiet, hidden traces beneath the waves, the past continues to beckon, inviting us to explore, question, and marvel. It is here, in the interplay between scale, precision, and mystery, that we begin to see the full scope of human creativity, an enduring testament to the audacity, skill, and imagination of civilizations that continue to defy explanation. Beneath the surface of the world's oceans, rivers, and lakes, entire civilizations lie hidden, preserved in silence and shadow, waiting for patient explorers to uncover them. Sunken cities, submerged temples, and forgotten ports reveal a side of history that has long been out of reach, concealed by water, sediment, and time. These submerged landscapes possess a dreamlike quality, where light filters softly through water, distorting shapes and forms, and the ordinary becomes ethereal. Exploring them requires not only skill and courage, but also a willingness to embrace uncertainty, to navigate spaces where every movement can uncover fragments of a lost world, each object a clue in the unfolding story of human history. Consider the ancient Egyptian city of Heracleion, once a bustling port on the Nile, now resting silently beneath the Mediterranean waters. Divers uncover statues, temples, and streets, perfectly preserved in their underwater tomb. The city's sudden submersion, possibly caused by earthquakes and rising sea levels, transformed it from a center of commerce and spirituality into a hidden museum of memory and mystery. Each artifact retrieved from Heracleion tells a story, from the daily lives of traders to the grandeur of sacred spaces, hinting at knowledge and practices that were sophisticated, organized, and interconnected. The very act of exploring these ruins is a meditation on human achievement and fragility, a reminder that the past is both enduring and impermanent. Half a world away, off the coast of Japan, the underwater formations near Yonaguni suggest the remnants of an advanced civilization, with terraces, staircases, and large geometric structures carved into stone. While debates continue over whether these formations are entirely natural or partially human-made, their precision and scale captivate the imagination. They challenge conventional timelines, forcing us to reconsider the sophistication of human activity in prehistoric periods. Did ancient humans create these structures intentionally, leaving behind traces of lost knowledge? Or are we witnessing the remarkable coincidences of nature? The uncertainty is part of their allure, drawing us into a contemplative state where science, speculation, and wonder intertwine. Underwater archaeology is a field of contrasts. On one hand, the water protects artifacts from the erosion and decay that time imposes on land. On the other, It presents obstacles that slow the pace of discovery and preserve only fragments of larger narratives. Divers navigate currents, darkness, and the weight of sediment to uncover objects that have lain undisturbed for centuries. Each finding, whether a statue, a vessel, or a simple tool, represents a connection across time, a tangible link to people who lived, labored, and dreamed in ways that echo into our present. The tension between accessibility and concealment enhances the mystery, highlighting the patience and skill required to bring the past to light. Many sunken sites also reveal unexpected sophistication in engineering and construction. Stone structures arranged in precise patterns, canals, and harbors suggest advanced understanding of water management, urban planning, and trade. Ancient seafarers, capable of navigating vast distances, left evidence of cultural exchange, technological knowledge, and complex social organization. These underwater cities, in their quiet repose, remind us that human ambition has always been adaptive, reaching across landscapes and environments that challenge survival and creating enduring marks of ingenuity even in the most inhospitable conditions. The beauty of underwater ruins is both literal and symbolic. The play of sunlight filtering through water creates shifting patterns on submerged stones, illuminating inscriptions, carvings, and pathways that have not seen the light for centuries. There is a poetry in this slow revelation, a quiet drama enacted by currents, sand, and human curiosity. Each dive becomes a journey through time, where the past is not only observed but felt. The water lends a softness to the edges of objects, blurring the lines between the real and the imagined, and encouraging reflection on the impermanence of civilizations, the resilience of memory, and the extraordinary creativity of human beings. The mysteries of these submerged worlds are amplified by the gaps in our knowledge. In many cases, we do not know the causes of submersion, the social structures of the civilizations, or the reasons for their decline. Was it climate change, tectonic activity, or human intervention that led to their disappearance beneath the waves? And yet, the questions themselves inspire awe and curiosity. They compel us to continue exploring, to piece together evidence from scattered fragments, and to imagine the lives, ambitions, and dreams of people whose stories have been hidden for centuries. Sunken cities also reveal the interconnectedness of ancient cultures. Objects recovered from these sites often show influences from distant lands, suggesting trade, cultural exchange, and shared knowledge across great distances. A statue may reflect artistic styles from one region while materials were sourced from another. Inscriptions may record transactions that span continents. These submerged worlds teach us that ancient human societies were not isolated, but part of a vast, dynamic network, sophisticated and ambitious in ways that continue to surprise us. Even in silence, the underwater ruins speak. They convey the fragility of human achievement in the face of natural forces, the enduring creativity of human civilization, and the mysteries that continue to defy explanation. Each discovery beneath the waves is a reminder that history is layered, complex, and often hidden from immediate view. The past is patient, waiting beneath the surface, inviting us to approach with humility, curiosity, and respect. As we leave the sunken cities behind, the echoes of their existence linger in our imagination. They prepare us to encounter the next chapter of discovery. The intricate artifacts, sophisticated tools, and enigmatic relics that hint at knowledge lost to time, but preserved through careful observation. From the monumental scale of submerged structures to the intimate detail of individual objects, the underwater world adds depth, dimension, and reflection to our understanding of human history. It is here, beneath the waves, that we are reminded how much remains hidden, and how every revelation, no matter how small, enriches the vast tapestry of the human story. Beneath the restless waves of our oceans and seas lie stories long forgotten, hidden from human eyes for centuries, sometimes millennia. The very notion of cities swallowed by water evokes a haunting beauty, streets, temples, and monuments preserved in silence, whispering of lives once lived and cultures that thrived before vanishing beneath the tides. These submerged landscapes remind us that history is not fixed on land alone. It flows and shifts, sometimes slipping quietly into the watery depths, waiting for discovery. One of the most enigmatic of these submerged sites is Dvarka, located off the western coast of India. According to legend, it was the magnificent city of Lord Krishna, a hub of culture and commerce in a distant past. Modern exploration has revealed stone structures, walls, and what appear to be remnants of dockyards lying several meters beneath the Arabian Sea. Archaeologists have dated some findings to over 5,000 years ago, raising profound questions. How could such a complex settlement have existed so long ago? What technologies allowed its construction? And how did it meet its watery fate? As we drift through images of these sunken streets, the calm currents seem almost to carry the echoes of life, footsteps, conversations, and the hum of daily life before the city surrendered to the sea. Far to the east, off the coast of Japan, the mysterious formations of Yonaguni stand as an underwater puzzle. At first glance, they appear to be natural rock formations shaped by the relentless tides. Yet careful examination reveals geometric terraces, precise angles, steps, and even what resembles carved channels, hinting at deliberate human intervention. Scholars remain divided. Are these the remnants of a lost civilization, or merely an illusion crafted by time and erosion? The ambiguity itself fuels the wonder, a perfect tension between what we know and what we hope might be true. Each dive into these murky waters is a journey back in time, a tentative attempt to touch a past that is tantalizingly out of reach. Closer to the Mediterranean, submerged harbors and ports add layers to this tapestry of mysteries. Ancient cities along the coasts of Greece, Italy, and Turkey, once bustling with trade, culture, and politics, now rest silently beneath the waves. Some discoveries, like Pavlopetri off the coast of southern Laconia, reveal entire city grids intact, with streets, houses, and tombs preserved in astonishing detail. Walking, or rather, swimming, through these ruins, we are reminded that civilization is fragile, constantly at the mercy of natural forces. These sites force us to confront the impermanence of human endeavors, and yet, paradoxically, they also speak to the endurance of human presence, frozen in stone beneath the ocean floor. The mystery of submersion often intersects with climate and catastrophe. Rising seas, earthquakes, and shifting landmasses have repeatedly rewritten the map of human settlement. Ancient societies that once thrived along coastlines may have been forced to migrate, adapt, or disappear entirely. This leads to questions that tug gently at the edges of our understanding. Were these civilizations aware of the threats that loomed above them? Did they anticipate the water's advance, or did they vanish suddenly, leaving only whispers and stone? As we ponder these possibilities, there is a calming melancholy, a recognition of the delicate balance between human ambition and nature's inexorable power. Yet the underwater realm is not only a place of loss, but also of astonishing preservation. Unlike the weathered ruins on land, submerged structures are often shielded from wind and sun, their carvings and forms remarkably intact. Archaeologists can study construction techniques, urban planning, and daily life in ways unimaginable elsewhere. The discoveries hint at sophisticated societies with knowledge of architecture, engineering, and maritime practices that seem almost modern. And as divers glide silently through these sites, cameras capturing haunting footage of columns, walls, and courtyards encrusted with coral and marine life, viewers are invited into a meditative state, imagining the echoes of lives once vibrant now refracted in the shifting light beneath the waves. There is also an undeniable poetic resonance in these submerged cities. They become mirrors of human memory itself, half remembered and half forgotten, glimpsed only fleetingly. The ocean, in its vastness, seems to guard its secrets with patience, revealing them only to those willing to explore with care, reverence, and a touch of wonder. In this calm, reflective space, curiosity thrives without urgency. Viewers are invited to linger in the liminal space between history and mystery, between what is known and what is hidden. Moreover, sunken cities often challenge conventional narratives of history. They suggest that human ingenuity and societal complexity may have arisen far earlier than textbooks indicate, or that civilizations interacted and migrated across continents in ways we are only beginning to grasp. Every stone, every submerged column, every layout of streets becomes a puzzle piece in a vast and incomplete picture of humanity. And yet, unlike artifacts that can be held, these underwater worlds resist easy answers, their stories emerging slowly, measured in dives, sonar scans, and patient reconstruction. As the currents swirl, it is impossible not to feel a quiet reverence for these watery tombs of civilization. They speak to endurance and loss, ingenuity and fragility, and the eternal human desire to seek, uncover, and understand. They remind us that history is not solely the story of conquest, kings, or written texts. It is also the story of landscapes lost to time, of civilizations claimed by the deep, of mysteries that invite us to pause, reflect, and dream. And as the section draws to a close, the calm, meditative tone guides the viewer toward the next chapter. The extraordinary human understanding of the stars and the maps that may have guided these ancient peoples across land and sea, hinting that even in submersion, knowledge can transcend time. Long before satellites, GPS, or even compasses, human beings looked to the horizon and the stars, attempting to chart the world around them. Across continents and millennia, civilizations developed remarkable ways of mapping the Earth, often with precision that seems astonishing even by modern standards. Ancient maps are not merely tools for navigation. They are glimpses into the minds of those who sought to understand a vast and mysterious planet, blending observation, mythology, and careful measurement into intricate representations of the known and unknown. One of the most fascinating examples is the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer. It depicts parts of Europe, North Africa, and surprisingly, hints of South America with striking accuracy. What makes it extraordinary is not only the detail, but also the sources it claims to use. Ancient maps, some of which are now lost to time. The precision of coastlines, the depiction of continents long before full European exploration, and the suggestion of knowledge of the Antarctic coastline decades before it was formally discovered, all combine to challenge our assumptions. The calm, deliberate tone of the map, etched onto fragile parchment, invites viewers to ponder the blend of observation, inherited knowledge, and perhaps lost wisdom that shaped it. Equally mesmerizing are celestial charts from ancient civilizations. The Babylonians, Egyptians, and Mayans all recorded the movements of the sun, moon, planets, and stars with meticulous care. For them, the heavens were not only a calendar, but a canvas upon which human destiny and terrestrial events were reflected. The Mayan Dresden Codex, for instance, reveals intricate cycles of Venus, eclipses, and other celestial phenomena, showcasing a level of astronomical understanding that seems remarkably sophisticated. These observations were not abstract. They guided agriculture, architecture, and religious ceremonies. Here, the contrast between the simplicity of ancient tools and the complexity of knowledge they achieved becomes almost poetic, a quiet testament to human curiosity and intellect. Even more enigmatic are globes and maps whose origins remain shrouded in mystery. The so-called Phaistos map, a curious artifact allegedly discovered in Crete, shows contours that some scholars believe correspond to ancient coastlines long submerged by rising seas. Though its authenticity is debated, the existence of such artifacts points toward a recurrent theme. Ancient humans may have possessed a global awareness far beyond what we often credit them for. In the stillness of these faded documents, one can sense a bridge between land and sea, echoing the sunken cities we explored earlier. The maps hint at trade routes, migrations, and perhaps a shared human knowledge that transcended continents and generations. Navigational tools, too, carry a quiet mystery. The astrolabe, used for centuries to determine latitude by measuring the angle of celestial bodies, exemplifies human ingenuity in harmonizing observation and mathematics. Ancient mariners, guided by the stars and their instruments, crossed vast oceans with no technology beyond their understanding of nature's rhythms. One can almost imagine the serenity of night at sea, with sailors charting unknown waters under the guidance of constellations, connecting the submerged ruins of distant lands with the stars above. Here, the narrative gently emphasizes the subtle beauty of human ingenuity, the patience and careful observation required to navigate both the known and the unknown. What makes these maps and celestial charts truly hypnotic is the interplay between accuracy and enigma. Some maps suggest knowledge that seems impossibly advanced, while others reflect the myths and interpretations of their makers. Together, they create a dialogue between observation and imagination, fact and mystery. The calm exploration of these artifacts invites viewers to linger on details: the curve of a coastline, the trajectory of Venus across the sky, the minute notations scribbled in the margins, each a clue, a whisper from a distant past, revealing both human aspiration and limitation. As the narrative moves forward, the maps serve as a bridge to broader questions about lost civilizations, migrations, and ancient knowledge. If humans were capable of charting continents, observing celestial patterns, and recording this information with such precision thousands of years ago, what other wisdom might have been lost to time, buried beneath the waves, hidden in ruins, or encoded in forgotten scripts? The sunken cities we visited earlier now feel connected to these charts and globes. Together, they form a network of human understanding that stretches across oceans and eras, suggesting that our ancestors' grasp of the world was both vast and profound. Ultimately, ancient maps and celestial knowledge remind us of a timeless human impulse: the desire to comprehend, to measure, and to leave a record of existence. They embody a tension that runs through history: the known world and the mysteries beyond it, the tangible coastlines and the uncharted seas, the predictable motions of stars and the unknowable fates of civilizations. As we leave behind the parchment maps and star charts, the calm tone invites viewers to carry forward a sense of wonder, ready to explore the extraordinary engineering and feats of human creativity that follow, the very evidence that our ancestors were capable of shaping their world in ways that still inspire awe today. In the quiet corners of our planet, scattered across deserts, mountains, and river valleys, lie feats of engineering so precise, so monumental, that they defy our expectations of ancient capabilities. These constructions, spanning aqueducts, tunnels, bridges, and temples, speak not only to human ingenuity, but also to a level of knowledge and skill that modern engineers sometimes struggle to replicate. As we observe these marvels, a subtle tension arises between awe and mystery, between the tangible achievements of human hands and the questions that linger in the shadows of time. Take, for instance, the ancient aqueducts of the Roman Empire. Stretching across valleys and plains, these stone channels carried water over vast distances with an accuracy that required careful measurement, precise gradients, and an understanding of hydraulics that seems astonishing for the era. Some of these aqueducts still function today, carrying water across landscapes as they did 2,000 years ago. The calm, deliberate observation of these structures reveals a society deeply attuned to its environment, capable of marrying practicality with architectural beauty. Yet, despite extensive studies, questions remain about how the Romans achieved such precision without modern tools, how they measured distances over mountains, calculated gradients, and maintained durability over centuries. Equally mesmerizing are subterranean wonders, such as the tunnels of Derinkuyu in Turkey. This sprawling underground city extends dozens of meters below the surface, with ventilation shafts, wells, and living quarters carefully designed to sustain large populations. The complexity of its construction is staggering, suggesting not only technical skill, but also an understanding of social organization, resource management, and long-term planning. As we mentally wander through its narrow corridors, the calm, meditative narration invites us to imagine daily life in these shadowed spaces. Families preparing meals by dim light, craftsmen shaping tools, and children navigating passageways carved with care. The tunnels evoke a silent story of human adaptation, of ingenuity responding to necessity in ways both practical and profoundly intelligent. In South America, the precision of Incan stonework in places like Machu Picchu and Sacsayhuaman offers another layer of wonder. Massive stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, are fitted together with such perfection that a knife blade cannot pass between them. The techniques by which these stones were quarried, transported, and assembled remain partially unknown, sparking debates that range from advanced ancient engineering methods to theories of lost or forgotten technologies. The calm narration emphasizes the human patience and ingenuity required to manipulate such materials, highlighting the contrast between the raw physical challenge and the elegant solutions that stand silent yet proud against the passage of time. Engineering marvels are not limited to stone and aqueducts. Bridges, roads, and causeways from ancient civilizations reveal a nuanced understanding of materials, topography, and environmental challenges. The causeways of Teotihuacan, for instance, connected vast urban centers, aligning with ceremonial spaces and celestial events. These thoroughfares were more than functional. They were symbolic, weaving together practical necessity and spiritual significance. In this, we see a recurring theme. Ancient engineering was rarely divorced from culture, belief, or social identity. Every cut stone, every leveled path, and every raised platform reflects a society harmonizing technical knowledge with vision and intent. Perhaps the most intriguing examples are those that defy conventional expectations entirely. Across the world, we find structures whose design, scale, or precision suggest knowledge seemingly beyond their era. Some pyramids, megalithic temples, and even urban grids demonstrate alignment with celestial events or topographical features with extraordinary accuracy. Such alignments hint at an understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and surveying that challenges traditional historical timelines. The calm narration gently underscores the mystery. How did these societies acquire and apply such knowledge? Were there shared networks of learning across regions, or did ingenuity arise independently, converging in similar solutions to universal challenges? The narrative of advanced ancient engineering is also one of endurance. Unlike many modern constructions, which succumb to time, these ancient works have persisted, weathering earthquakes, floods, and centuries of human activity. Their survival becomes a form of storytelling in itself, a testament to the ingenuity, foresight, and meticulous care of their creators. As viewers reflect on this endurance, there emerges a subtle philosophical undertone. The human desire to leave a mark, to craft something lasting, to assert presence across time and space. Engineering, in this sense, becomes both practical and poetic, a bridge between functionality and legacy. There is also an element of humility woven into this exploration. While modern tools, machinery, and mathematical modeling offer remarkable advantages, these ancient societies accomplished astonishing feats with what we might consider rudimentary means. Observing their works, one cannot help but feel a quiet respect, even awe, for the ingenuity, creativity, and determination embedded in each structure. The narrative encourages viewers to linger in this awe, allowing themselves to imagine the labor, collaboration, and vision required to transform raw stone, soil, and water into enduring monuments of human capability. As we leave behind aqueducts, tunnels, and stone walls, the story of engineering naturally leads into broader patterns of human endeavor and global anomalies. Each structure hints at connections, shared knowledge, and cultural priorities that stretch across continents and eras. The calm, reflective tone draws attention not only to the technical achievements themselves, but also to the questions they provoke. Were these feats isolated incidents of brilliance, or do they point to a deeper, perhaps forgotten, understanding of our world? And what other secrets, like the sunken cities or ancient maps we have explored, might still lie waiting to reshape our understanding of human history? Ultimately, the evidence of advanced ancient engineering reminds us that human capability has always been both practical and imaginative. These structures embody a dialogue between the known and the unknown, the material and the mysterious, the effort of human hands and the enduring beauty of their creations. They serve as silent teachers, inviting reflection, curiosity, and reverence. And as the narration guides us toward the next chapter, global anomalies and possible connections, the viewer carries with them a sense of wonder at what humans have achieved and a deep curiosity about what remains to be discovered. Across the continents, patterns begin to emerge that hint at a shared human curiosity, ingenuity, and perhaps even knowledge that transcended distance and time. When we observe monuments, artifacts, and engineering marvels from disparate civilizations, the parallels are often striking. From the pyramids of Egypt to the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, from the megalithic circles of Europe to the steppe platforms of the Americas, one cannot help but notice similarities that suggest more than mere coincidence. These global anomalies invite us to pause, to consider the possibility that the story of humanity is far more interconnected than traditional narratives suggest. Take, for instance, the pyramidal structures that appear in Egypt, Mexico, and Sudan. Though separated by thousands of miles and centuries of history, they share striking architectural characteristics, precise alignments, terrace designs, and a symbolic orientation toward celestial bodies. Did these societies arrive at similar designs independently, guided by universal mathematical principles and an intuitive understanding of geometry? Or could there have been some form of shared knowledge, passing quietly from one culture to another across oceans and deserts, leaving only traces in stone? The calm narration invites viewers to linger on these questions, not seeking immediate answers, but rather exploring the quiet wonder of human ingenuity repeated across the globe. Another intriguing pattern appears in ancient maritime trade and migration. Archaeological discoveries, from exotic artifacts in distant lands to genetic traces linking far-off populations, suggest that humans may have traveled and communicated across great distances far earlier than we often assume. Obsidian tools from volcanic regions have been found thousands of kilometers from their source, while cultural motifs, pottery styles, and symbolic carvings appear in regions separated by vast oceans. These anomalies hint at the possibility of long-distance contact, or perhaps a shared ancestral knowledge, emphasizing that human civilization has always been more mobile and interconnected than a purely land-based historical perspective would suggest. Astronomy, too, provides subtle evidence of global connection. Many ancient sites, from Stonehenge to the pyramids of Teotihuacan, exhibit alignments with solstices, equinoxes, or the movements of planets and stars. While it is tempting to assume coincidence, the consistency and precision of these alignments across different civilizations point toward a shared understanding of the cosmos. Knowledge of the heavens shaped calendars, agricultural cycles, and religious rituals, and it is plausible that ideas were transmitted through observation, oral tradition, or trade routes, linking distant peoples with a common thread of celestial awareness. Even the construction of megalithic structures across continents reflects a curious resonance. Large stones, quarried, transported, and arranged with painstaking precision, appear in Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. In some cases, the techniques seem strikingly similar despite no evidence of direct contact between the cultures. Could it be that the human mind, facing similar challenges of construction, organization, and ritual, naturally converged on comparable solutions? Or might there exist a deeper, shared wisdom, lost to time, that once spread more freely across the planet. The calm, poetic tone encourages viewers to entertain these possibilities, to sit with the ambiguity and the sense of wonder that arises from it. These anomalies also extend to artistic and symbolic motifs. Patterns resembling spirals, circles, and other geometric designs appear repeatedly in cave paintings, carvings, and pottery from cultures that could not have communicated in conventional ways. Such recurrence evokes a subtle sense of unity, a reflection of a human mind encountering the natural world, contemplating the stars, the sun, the water, and the earth in ways that transcend language and geography. The narrative gently emphasizes the beauty in this synchronicity, inviting reflection on how, across time and space, humans grappled with the same mysteries, expressed similar ideas, and perhaps sought the same answers to the questions that still captivate us today. While some scholars caution against overinterpreting these anomalies, there's undeniable power in noticing patterns. Whether these connections point to lost global networks, convergent evolution of ideas, or simply the universality of human experience, they ignite curiosity and invite deeper exploration. The calm, meditative style allows viewers to ponder these possibilities without urgency, cultivating a reflective space where mystery and understanding coexist. Every anomaly becomes a subtle clue, hinting at stories yet untold, migrations yet traced, and wisdom yet recovered from the fragments of history. Ultimately, the study of global anomalies and possible connections reminds us that human history may be less a series of isolated civilizations and more a tapestry woven from shared observation, creativity, and ingenuity. These patterns encourage humility as well as awe. While we have learned much from archaeology, we remain surrounded by questions that the past whispers but never fully reveals. As this section draws to a close, the viewer is prepared to confront the debates, theories, and controversies that arise from such discoveries, the contrasting interpretations that illuminate the delicate dance between fact and mystery, certainty and speculation. Every discovery, every submerged city, and every monumental structure brings with it a multitude of questions that often divide scholars, archaeologists, and enthusiasts into competing interpretations. The evidence itself rarely yields straightforward answers, and this tension between certainty and speculation has fueled centuries of debate. As we explore these controversies, the calm narration invites viewers to consider multiple perspectives, lingering on the mystery rather than rushing toward resolution, and embracing the subtle thrill of not knowing. Some theories are rooted firmly in mainstream archaeology. They attribute extraordinary structures to the ingenuity of human societies, developed independently over time through trial, error, and incremental advancement. The precision of Incan stonework, for example, is often explained as the product of careful chiseling, experience, and collective knowledge passed through generations. Similarly, the construction of the pyramids is seen by many as the culmination of architectural innovation, organizational skill, and human labor harnessed over decades. This approach emphasizes that our ancestors were capable of extraordinary feats without invoking external or unknown forces, a perspective that celebrates human achievement while remaining grounded in tangible evidence. Yet alternative interpretations persist, offering theories that challenge conventional timelines and explanations. Some propose that lost civilizations, more advanced than we currently recognize, left behind knowledge that has since been forgotten. Others speculate about the involvement of external influences, whether through previously unknown cultural contacts or, in more speculative circles, even extraterrestrial intervention. The calm, poetic tone allows these theories to be presented without sensationalism, framing them as imaginative exercises in understanding the past rather than definitive claims. In this way, viewers are invited to consider possibilities while remaining mindful of the limits of evidence. Controversy also arises when interpretations conflict with established narratives. Artifacts, megalithic alignments, and ancient texts often resist categorization within accepted frameworks. The Antikythera mechanism, for instance, challenges our understanding of technological development in the ancient world, prompting debates about whether its sophistication was an isolated anomaly or evidence of a broader, unrecognized tradition of scientific knowledge. Similarly, sites like Göbekli Tepe force historians to reconsider assumptions about hunter-gatherer societies, suggesting that complex communal and religious activity preceded agriculture in ways that textbooks have rarely acknowledged. These debates illuminate the tension between fact and interpretation, encouraging curiosity while highlighting the humility required in the face of incomplete evidence. Academic discourse is not limited to technological feats. Linguistic enigmas, such as the Voynich manuscript or Linear A, evoke profound debate over the origins, purpose, and meaning of written symbols that have defied decoding for centuries. Scholars cautiously propose theories ranging from lost languages to cryptic code systems, yet certainty remains elusive. The calm narrative underscores that ambiguity, rather than diminishing the value of these artifacts, enhances their mystery, offering a quiet space for reflection and wonder. It reminds viewers that sometimes the most compelling stories emerge not from answers, but from enduring questions. The interplay between mainstream archaeology and alternative theories often generates intense discussion. Critics argue for methodological rigor, demanding tangible evidence and reproducible findings. Advocates for alternative interpretations emphasize patterns, anomalies, and unexplained phenomena that conventional methods struggle to explain. This dialogue highlights the beauty of intellectual inquiry, a dynamic exchange of ideas, tempered by skepticism, curiosity, and respect for the unknown. For viewers, this section creates a meditative pause, a moment to appreciate that human understanding is never static, and that mystery can coexist with rigorous exploration. Underlying these debates is a subtle recognition. History is rarely a linear narrative. It is a tapestry woven from fragments, interpretations, and occasional gaps where knowledge has been lost to time, natural disaster, or human neglect. Each controversy reflects this layered complexity. For instance, global anomalies, similarities across distant civilizations, and ancient astronomical knowledge provoke questions about the continuity and diffusion of ideas that remain unresolved. Calm narration frames these questions as invitations rather than obstacles, emphasizing curiosity and contemplation over resolution. Theories, controversies, and debates also remind us of our own relationship with knowledge and time. They encourage viewers to confront the limitations of our understanding and to appreciate the patience, creativity, and persistence required to uncover history. At the same time, they cultivate a quiet sense of wonder, acknowledging that some mysteries may never be fully resolved. In this, there's a subtle parallel to sleep itself, a gentle acceptance of uncertainty, a meditation on what is known and what is hidden, a willingness to rest in the presence of the unknown. As this section concludes, it naturally transitions into reflection on the broader implications of these discoveries. Beyond the technicalities of construction, astronomy, or linguistics lies a deeper question. What do these mysteries teach us about human civilization, our potential, and the choices of our ancestors? By presenting multiple theories and the debate surrounding them, the narrative encourages viewers to move from curiosity to contemplation, preparing them for the next stage, a calm meditation on the lessons of history, the fragility and brilliance of human societies, and the enduring mysteries that continue to shape our understanding of the past. As we step back from the stonework, maps, and sunken cities that have guided our journey, a broader perspective begins to emerge, one that asks us to consider not just the artifacts themselves, but what they reveal about humanity across time. History is often presented as a linear narrative, a chronological sequence of events neatly cataloged in textbooks. Yet the physical remnants we have explored, megalithic structures, submerged cities, ancient maps, and undeciphered scripts, remind us that human civilization is far more complex, layered, and mysterious than a simple timeline can convey. These discoveries invite us to slow down, to reflect on the patterns of human ingenuity, the fragility of societies, and the enduring curiosity that binds generations across millennia. One of the clearest lessons from these ancient achievements is the extraordinary power of human curiosity. Across continents and millennia, people sought to observe, measure, and understand the world around them. The precise alignment of monuments with celestial bodies, the careful plotting of coastlines on fragile parchment, and the monumental engineering feats of aqueducts, tunnels, and stone cities all speak to a collective desire to comprehend the environment and their place within it. These endeavors demonstrate that curiosity is not merely an abstract trait, but a guiding force, shaping societies, influencing culture, and driving technological and artistic innovation. Human history, as revealed through these discoveries, is first and foremost a history of questions. Questions about the land, the sky, the cycles of time, and the very nature of existence. These artifacts and sites also teach us about ingenuity and problem-solving. Consider the terraced agricultural fields of the Inca, engineered with meticulous care to prevent erosion and optimize water distribution. Or the underground cities of Anatolia, designed to shelter thousands of people from harsh climates or potential invaders. Even with the limitations of technology at their disposal, these civilizations devised solutions that were sophisticated, efficient, and often beautiful. In this way, history is revealed as a record of human adaptability, a testament to the creativity and persistence that allowed societies to thrive in the face of environmental, social, and logistical challenges. Each discovery becomes a mirror reflecting both the practical and the imaginative capacities of the human mind. The fragility of civilization emerges as another profound lesson. Sunken cities, vanished empires, and lost scripts remind us that no matter how advanced or powerful a society may appear, it remains vulnerable to the forces of nature and the passage of time. Dvarka rests silently beneath the Arabian Sea. Pavlopetri lies hidden off the coast of Greece, and entire stretches of the Indus Valley civilization have been claimed by erosion and sediment. Yet within these losses, there is enduring presence. Even in ruins, these civilizations speak across time through their planning, construction, and artistry. They remind us that history is not merely about what survives intact, but also about what endures in spirit, in structure, and in human memory. Patterns across cultures reveal the universality of human experience. Spirals, circles, and geometric motifs recur in cave paintings, pottery, and architecture, from Europe to the Americas to Asia. Celestial alignments appear in the stone circles of Britain, the pyramids of Egypt, and the temples of Mesoamerica. These repeated motifs suggest that certain principles of observation, creativity, and symbolism were recognized independently across distant civilizations, pointing to a shared impulse to understand the cosmos, organize communities, and imbue life with meaning. By reflecting on these patterns, we gain insight into the common threads that weave humanity together, highlighting the ways in which distant peoples responded to the same natural and existential challenges in remarkably similar ways. The study of ancient engineering and technology further illuminates the sophistication of our ancestors. From Incan stonework in Peru to Roman aqueducts, from the precision of the Great Pyramid of Giza to the mysterious mechanical complexity of the Antikythera mechanism, these feats demonstrate that humans have long been capable of extraordinary technical skill. Yet the fact that some of this knowledge has been lost or remains partially unexplained encourages a sense of humility. We are reminded that technological progress is not linear, that civilizations rise and fall, and that much wisdom is ephemeral, surviving only in traces and fragments. This lesson resonates beyond history, urging us to consider how modern societies preserve, or risk losing, the knowledge we create today. Another crucial aspect these discoveries highlight is the integration of culture, spirituality, and knowledge. Ancient peoples often intertwined practical engineering, astronomy, and mathematics with ritual, belief, and societal organization. Temples aligned with the solstice, tunnels designed for communal living, and sacred cities built on celestial principles reveal a worldview in which the physical, social, and spiritual realms were interconnected. By studying these intersections, we learn that human history is not only a story of survival and utility, but also of imagination, wonder, and a striving to find meaning in existence. These sites and artifacts encourage contemplation not just of how people lived, but of how they understood their place in the universe. These discoveries also provoke reflection on human connectivity across time and space. Similar structures, motifs, and knowledge systems appearing in distant regions suggest either independent convergence or, perhaps more tantalizingly, a forgotten network of shared understanding. While definitive proof remains elusive, the very possibility opens a contemplative space, a meditation on the interwoven nature of human experience, the migrations, trade routes, and exchanges of ideas that may have linked societies in ways we are only beginning to understand. It prompts us to consider humanity not as isolated fragments, but as an interconnected web of creativity, knowledge, and ambition stretching across continents and centuries. In addition, the lessons of history extend to our relationship with impermanence and mortality. Just as great civilizations can vanish, so too can their knowledge, leaving only whispers for those who come after. This fragility underscores the importance of curiosity, preservation, and reflection. By engaging with these remnants of the past, we are reminded to cherish the ephemeral and seek understanding even in the face of inevitable loss. The past, in this sense, is not simply a record. It is a living dialogue between what has been achieved, what has been forgotten, and what we continue to imagine. Ultimately, the cumulative message of these discoveries is one of humility, reverence, and enduring curiosity. They teach us that human history is vast, complex, and filled with layers that continue to challenge modern understanding. They invite us to slow down, to observe closely, to meditate on the achievements, mysteries, and fragilities of those who came before us. They encourage us to respect the ingenuity of human minds across time, while embracing the unknown as a natural and valuable part of our collective story. In this quiet reflection, viewers are invited to consider their own role within the continuum of human endeavor. We inherit not only the physical remnants of the past, but also the curiosity, creativity, and resilience that enabled these achievements. The past becomes a guide for understanding ourselves, a reminder that human potential is immense, and that the pursuit of knowledge, tempered by humility and imagination, is timeless. These lessons linger like soft echoes, inviting contemplation, inspiring wonder, and preparing us for the closing meditation on the endless horizon of mystery that defines human history. As we draw our journey through ancient civilizations, enigmatic artifacts, and sunken cities to a close, a profound sense of wonder lingers, a quiet acknowledgement that the story of humanity is far from complete. The discoveries we have explored remind us that history is not a series of neatly contained chapters, but an endless horizon of mystery, stretching beyond what we can see, touch, or even fully comprehend. It is in this space between knowledge and the unknown that the imagination awakens, and where reflection finds its most serene expression. There's a certain poetry in the incompleteness of history. Pyramids rise from deserts, megaliths endure in forests, and submerged cities lie beneath the waves, yet for every structure uncovered, countless others remain hidden. Every artifact, map, and inscription we encounter is both an answer and a question, a tangible proof of human creativity and a reminder of the gaps in our understanding. The calm narration draws attention to this balance, emphasizing that mystery is not a void to be feared, but a space to inhabit, a gentle invitation to contemplate what might have been, what might still lie undiscovered, and what threads connect us to our distant ancestors. Perhaps the most striking lesson of all is the enduring resilience and ingenuity of humanity. Across time and space, people have built, observed, recorded, and imagined in ways that continue to astonish us. From intricate astronomical calculations to monumental stonework, from carefully preserved underwater cities to the enduring beauty of undeciphered scripts, these achievements reveal a continuity of curiosity and purpose that transcends cultural and temporal boundaries. In reflecting on these accomplishments, we are reminded of our shared heritage. Not only the knowledge that has survived, but the human spirit that created it, the same spirit that continues to drive exploration, discovery, and understanding today. Yet with knowledge comes humility. Many of the most intriguing discoveries challenge assumptions, question timelines, and defy conventional explanations. They remind us that certainty is rarely absolute, and that our understanding of the past is always provisional, always subject to revision. In this uncertainty, there is both tension and beauty, the thrill of questioning, the patience of searching, and the quiet wonder of sitting with unanswered questions. The unknown is not a source of frustration, but a space for reflection, imagination, and gentle curiosity. A reminder that some mysteries are meant to endure, their value lying not in the answers they provide, but in the questions they inspire. The calm, meditative rhythm of history also encourages introspection. As we observe civilizations that rose and fell, technologies that advanced and were lost, and patterns that repeat across continents and millennia, we are invited to consider our own place in the continuum of time. What knowledge will we preserve, and what might be forgotten? How will future generations interpret the traces we leave behind? In contemplating these questions, the narrative fosters a serene sense of connection, linking the present to a vast past and suggesting that the human story is as much about legacy, memory, and imagination as it is about achievement. Mystery, after all, is an enduring companion. It lingers in the alignment of stones with the stars, in maps that predate known exploration, and in artifacts that challenge our understanding of technology, science, and society. It is present in submerged cities, hidden scripts, and unexplained global patterns, patiently awaiting discovery or rediscovery. The calm narration encourages the mind to wander gently among these enigmas, to appreciate the beauty of the unknown, and to recognize that some mysteries, like the deep oceans or the night sky, are as valuable for their presence as for their solution. As our journey comes to its final moments, we are left with a quiet reflection. History is both revealed and concealed, a dialogue between human curiosity and the vastness of time. It is a reminder that the past is not static, but a living, breathing story, reshaped with every new discovery, every careful interpretation, and every thoughtful question. The calm, immersive tone encourages viewers to rest in this contemplation, to embrace both the knowledge gained and the mysteries that endure, and to carry forward a sense of wonder, patience, and reverence for the vast continuum of human experience. In closing, the horizon stretches endlessly, inviting us to imagine, to explore, and to dream. The past, with all its enigmas and marvels, reminds us that curiosity is timeless, that human creativity knows no bounds, and that the pursuit of understanding is an ongoing, ever-evolving journey. As the narration fades, the echoes of sunken cities, precise stones, undeciphered texts, and celestial alignments linger in the mind, a gentle meditation on the mysteries that define our shared human story. In this quiet space, the viewer is left with the serene knowledge that while answers may be elusive, the beauty and wonder of discovery are eternal, and the horizon of mystery remains forever inviting.